Abandoned places around the world. Whether you consider abandoned buildings to be eerie or alluring, they can provide one-of-a-kind windows into a destination's past. These spots are particularly visually compelling, but they also serve as important reminders of history. Each location is a snapshot of history frozen in time. Take a tour of these mesmerising sites around the world, stark reminders of what used to be, with beauty seeping through the broken glass and dust. Number 12. Hoya Forest, Romania. Nicknamed the Bermuda Triangle of Transylvania, this forest is said to be a portal to another dimension. With several people disappearing over the years, it has become a no-entry zone for the general population. However, accounts of people who managed to pass through unharmed have reported bizarre sensations, along with strange rashes which persist for a long time. Multiple UFOs have also been sighted over the forest. Several inexplicable events have happened, one of which is a girl disappearing, not being seen for a single day after that, and reappearing after 5 years, wearing the same clothes and not having aged a single day. The local vegetation is quite bizarre, with tree trunks depicting one's facial features and growing in an unearthly manner. Number 11. Shi Cheng, China. Submerged under 131 feet of water, this underwater city is also hailed as China's Atlantis. Built somewhere in 200 AD, this city was discovered in the recent past. Various artefacts and structures have been discovered which have stood the test of time and been immaculately preserved. Said to be in its prime during its time, little is known about this submerged city. Open to the public, it offers a unique underwater experience desired by many. Number 10. Houtouwan, China. Houtouwan, a former fishing village located about 87 miles southeast of Shanghai on Shengshan Island, has been uninhabited for several decades, but this is not your average ghost town. Instead of it being covered in dust and rubble, these buildings are almost entirely occupied by creeping ivy and lush vegetation, creating a green landscape that is more spectacular than devastating. While most of the village's original residents moved inland in the early 1990s, a few people do still live on the island, selling water to curious tourists and photographers. Number 9. Eastern State Penitentiary, Philadelphia. The castle-like Eastern State Penitentiary was built in 1829 and immediately took solitary confinement to new levels. Prisoners lived alone, exercised alone, and ate alone. When an inmate left his cell, a guard would cover their head with a hood so he couldn't see or be seen. The prison had to abandon its solitary system due to overcrowding in 1913 until it closed in 1971, although the forms of punishment did not get any less severe. The site remained empty until it opened its doors to curious visitors in 1994 and now welcomes thousands of visitors every year, both for its museum and ghost tours. Number 8. Craco, Italy. Founded in the 8th century, the hilltop town of Craco had a rough go of things for several centuries, falling victim to earthquakes, wars, and the Black Plague. The final straw was a 1963 landslide, which forced all remaining residents to evacuate the city. The original city sits in a state of slow decay, although it's still a popular site for visitors. There are even a few annual religious festivals held in Craco from May to October, while off-season tourists can enjoy the city ruins and cliffside views. Number 7. Agrasen, Baoli, India. Located in the Union Territory of Delhi, this place has no historical records whatsoever proving its age or claim of ownership. Experts claim that it was built as a step temple to honour the gods, and a part of it also served as a well. The well has currently dried up. The unique architecture serves as ice for one's sore eyes, and captivates one with its enthralling beauty. Witnesses say that strange, gut-wrenching sounds can be heard along with haunting apparitions of a young woman clad in a red sari with a partially burnt face. Number 6. Kolmanskop, Namibia. Located in the barren Namib Desert, Kolmanskop boomed as a German diamond mining settlement during the early 1900s. After World War I, however, the area's once rich diamond field began to deplete and operations eventually came to a halt. By the end of the 1950s, German colonists had completely deserted the town, leaving the abandoned buildings of their settlement to be swallowed up by the southern Namibian sands. The site instantly became a ghost town. It is now famous for its eerie sand-filled houses, which have appeared on screen several times, notably in Dust Devil from 1993 and The King is Alive from 2000. Number 5. Kayakoy, Turkey. Located in southwest Turkey, the abandoned village of Kayakoy was once a thriving community of about 10,000 residents living in religious harmony. Both Greek Orthodox Christians and Muslims built houses here in the 14th century, and the two groups lived peacefully side by side until most of the population was exiled following the Greco-Turkish War in the 1920s. This forced exodus, not to mention a damaging earthquake in 1957, turned Kayakoy into a ghost town you see today. The hillside town is still quite beautiful, with several hundred homes and a few churches standing in quiet defiance and remembrance of a once peaceful society. Number 4. The Island of Dolls, Mexico. Despite its status as a World Heritage Site, Xochimilco has reached a certain amount of internet fame for its Isla de la Muñecas, or the Island of the Dolls. Hidden among the area's many canals, the site is famous for the hundreds of dolls and doll parts hanging from trees and scattered among the grass. Although it looks more like a horror movie set than anything else. The Chinempa used to be the actual residence of a now-deceased man named Julian Santa Barrera. After finding a dead girl's body in a nearby canal, Barrera collected and displayed the toys in the hopes of warding off evil spirits. Daring souls can hire their own boat, try to convince the driver to pay the island a visit, and view it, along with the decaying house and dangling dolls, safely from the water. Number 3. Sanzhi UFO Houses, Taiwan. Intended to be a bunch of vacation resorts, these houses were built off the coast of Taiwan. Dubbed as ruins of the future, these houses had garnered appreciation for their offbeat structure and wacky design. Construction had kicked off and was in full swing when mass suicides started happening and workers were killed in mind-boggling accidents. People have attributed this to the demolition of a Chinese dragon sculpture on site in order to make way for their equipment. Other sources say that prior to independence, the site served as a burial ground for martyred Dutch soldiers. Now demolished, the Taiwanese government had taken up new projects to revamp the area's image and transform it into something better. Number 2. Bodie, California. In the late 1800s, Bodie was a booming gold mining town with a population of more than 10,000 people. Today, the ghost town, which is located approximately 75 miles southeast of California's Lake Tahoe, has been preserved in a state of arrested decay. Over 50 buildings are still standing, some featuring preserved interiors that appear almost exactly as they were left. A handful of the abandoned buildings are open for the public to explore. During summer, the State Historic Park offers exclusive nighttime ghost mill tours that feature legends and ghost stories about the town. It is one of the best, well-preserved ghost towns in the world. Number 1. Great Train Graveyard, Bolivia. Uyuni is mainly known for its salt flats and red lakes, but the Bolivian region has another unusual tourist attraction, a cemetery of abandoned antique trains. In the early 19th century, plans were made to extend Uyuni's transportation network and build more train tracks through the city, but the project was abandoned due to technical difficulties and tensions with local indigenous people. The The trains were still used to transport minerals to port cities on the Pacific, but the minerals ran out in the 1940s, the miners left town, and the equipment was left sitting out in the desert. Time and salty winds have since corroded the trains, resulting in the Great Train Graveyard you see today.